Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the hangar module for Star Citizen, or what used to be the hangar module. If you go to robertspaceindustries.com, you will find, if you have an account, that is, that you can actually download the game. It's no longer the hangar module, it is now the fully fledged basis for any future updates for Star Citizen. So here I am in my hangar. Now, unfortunately, I've had to drop this to high. I can't run it on very high when I'm recording because Fraps decides to butcher the quality. Now, I do apologise for that. We're going to get a few drops here and there. But the first thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, there's motion blur on, and I don't like that. So if people at home don't know how to do that and you have Star Citizen, simply press the console command, like this. Now, I've got it in my clipboard, but you want to do R underscore, capital M for motion, then capital B for blur, then a space, and then 0. And then it goes green, like that, to show that it's been applied. And now, we don't have motion blur. Oh my god, thank the gods, praise the sun, etc. So, the first thing you'll see, when you come into a hangar, if you have a package, is this screen here, once it's loaded in. The first thing you'll see is this VR helmet on the pedestal. Now, even if you have the basic hangar, or the the one in between, I can't remember the name of, business hangar, that's the one. You'll have this, and simply press F on this, and suddenly, if we idle for a few seconds, suddenly, usually it comes up with a little thing that says that it's on. But as you can see, it is actually on my character's head. Usually there's a little RSI symbol at the bottom, but whatever. So here we are in my hangar. Like I say, God, my constellation, which I own, is in the distance, and I have a cutlass over there in the alcove that you must have seen before. Recently, I have purchased an RSI Aurora simply to test it out in this module. But I don't know what I'm going to do with that in the future. But the 3 ships that we can use in today's this week's update is the Aurora, the 300i, and the Anvil Aerospace Hornet, which is the F7C military version over here. So these 3 ships, you get loaned to you if you have no package, or a package that isn't a ship, like the Constellation. You get a 300i. For the Cutlass, you get the Hornet, etc. So I didn't have the Aurora available for testing, so I decided to get one. Anyway, now I would be showing you the Hornet today. Unfortunately, I do not have the capability of making it work. For some reason, with my client, I don't know why, I haven't seen this reported anywhere else, but the ship will not actually accelerate once it's out there. Now, as you can see, I've stripped off the turrets and guns because I've been, well, some of the guns, because I've been using them on other ships and messing around. But even before then, it didn't work. So that's an issue. But nevertheless, we can show you 2 ships today. We can show you the 300i over here. This is the test version. Beautiful white color. I do like this. Look how beautiful and shiny this is. Again, this is on high settings, so it's not the best quality, but it's the best you're gonna get from me, I'm afraid, until the game gets closer to release and I upgrade my system, because before then, obviously, there's not much point, is there? So yeah, let's get straight into it, shall we? So you've got your helmet on, as you can see in third-person view. I have my helmet on. I am ready for VR training. Now, this is the mainstay of the update, and the reason it's the Arena Commander update. It basically means, yeah, you can fly ships, but not in reality, let's say. So let's get aboard the Aurora with our lovely animations. Now, this is something I want to point out. The entire ship is PBR'd in here. Look how beautiful and shiny chrome is, and then you've got the flat textures, the matte textures of the sort of rustic pieces, and it all fits together very nicely. Obviously, this isn't on the high settings. It looks godlike on max. But yeah, anyway, so let's get into our pilot seat of our Aurora, which is the Armor MR, basically. This is the lowest level one. if you were to buy the basic package, the very basic cheap package for the game to help crowdfund it, this is what you would get. Now, before we get started, there is a bit of a disclaimer that you have to agree to for this. Basically, is that in no way does this compare to the finalized game, not in the slightest. This is a pre-alpha, not even an alpha, a pre-alpha look at basics of flight and simulation. Okay, so here we go, and eventually this mode, this VR mode, which is not in reality, we're not actually flying the real ship, we're flying a VR version of it. This will be in the game in the form of arena mode. So as we can see on the screen, there are two maps at the moment that are currently available. There's Broken Moon and there is Dying Star. Now I'm on the single player mode. There is a multiplayer mode, but only the first like 30,000 people get in day one. But they're unlocking it based on your citizen number. So your citizen number is when you basically applied to, when you backed and made an account. I'm in the high 300,000s, so I'm going to be probably a couple of months down the line before I get to play multiplayer. But anyway, until then we have a single player mode, which has two modes, and we've got two maps, Broken Moon and Dying Star. Both of them look really pretty. And we have free flight mode, and we have Vandal Swarm. Now for the Aurora, because it's not the best in combat, I'm going to show you what it's like to free flight.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries.
Oh,
Enjoy the ride.
I will. So here we are. We are in the cockpit of the Aurora. First major bug you might be noticing here is that the camera is a little bit skew here. Yeah, I don't know why it's slightly tilted, but that's part of the charm, at least for day one. Anyway, remember this is very, very, very pre-alpha, and the first time we've got to fly ships. So this is what it looks like inside the inside the cockpit. But we have our outside view here. We can't really see much on this map because of spawning in a terrible location. But here we are. Look, we are in space, and there are the thrusters that are burning. Look, in different ways. That's me yawing, and there's me pitching around. There we go. So obviously we get some missiles and stuff, but we've unarmed the missiles in this mode because there's nothing to fire out. We're going to show you some combat in a little bit. So let's throttle up. I'm using a joystick right now. I'm actually using the Logitech GTX Stream Pro, which is by no means the best joystick in the world. It's a very cheap joystick, and that's the reason I have it, simply to try out joysticks and see if I enjoy them. Personally, I feel that they are really, really nice. In some of the other ships, actually I don't know about the Hornet, but in the 300i it feels a little bit twitchy, but that's mainly down to the the actual balancing of certain how twitchy the controls are, which they need to refine further down the alpha process. So here we are, we're flying out. This third person view, you might notice, doesn't actually have a HUD, and the reason for that is that they wanted to make it so that people aren't basically going around like this and being able to aim at stuff. Not to say that you can't do that, but it's a lot easier if you have a HUD, and obviously you can fly around very close to objects like this. So aside from that, there are other flight modes that we can look at here, and it's best to show them actually in third person view. So let's throttle down a little bit. If we press the caps lock button, I need to go inside for a second. Right. If we see here, there's a little light. You probably can't see it actually. It's just over here without me turning. I'm using the mouse now to show you. Over here it says coupled. Now if we press caps lock, that changes to have a cross through it, and we're in decoupled mode. Now you might be asking, what's decoupled mode? Well, as you can see, in coupled mode, you're burning toward, your throttle is still engaged in that direction. Say for instance I wanted to still go, let's actually put it on a better course. Say for instance I still wanted to go in this direction at quite a significant, half impulse speed, and we decouple, and then we do this. We are still going that direction. Let me show you. We are still going that direction, but we are now facing a different direction. So it means that we were able to then press caps lock again and then turn back on the engines and do this. So it means that you can basically engage well, the decoupled mode and use Newtonian physics to let your ship fly in the way that the thrusters are going, but then you're using your maneuvering thrusters to essentially turn your ship on a dime, which is brilliant for dogfighting, and a lot of people, I don't think, realize that you can do that. Most of the people on the forums seem to not be able to read a manual. Along with that, we also have the space brake. Look at this, the air brake. This is also very useful for that as well. Say, for instance, I'm going across, and shift is your afterburner, by the way. I'm going really fast, and then I want to brake. We're still going that direction, like we're drifting around, but it means that we can do a drift and a shoot, essentially, if that makes any sense. So, we've got your handbrake, essentially, your air brake. And you've also got decoupled mode, where you can very literally flip around and shoot the enemy target, and then put on the coupled mode again, and then fly after them. There are a few other modes that we can look at as well. Like I say, for a pre-alpha, this is actually quite in-depth. We also have control and caps. If we turn that on, you can see it's the G safety device is turned up. It says G safe. When we pressed control and capital, oh god.
Warning. You are approaching.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. We are approaching the boundaries. The simulation isn't very big. Obviously, you're not in the entirety of space. You're in VR, so it has limitations, like a holodeck. Actually, a holodeck doesn't. I'm not sure how they work in Star Trek, but that's for another time. Anyway, G-Safe off allows you to pull maneuvers which would otherwise black you out. Now, it's not really evident in this machine because it's quite slow, honestly. But usually in maneuvers in the Hornet and sometimes in the 300i, because they're quite nimble craft, you know, doing lots of maneuvers where you're flying around and oh my god, you lose control and you're trying to bank really hard, and you put decoupled mode on as well, so all those G's are flowing into your body. Well, you can black out. So with G-Safe off, well, G-Safe essentially limits it so that you can't black out, basically. It won't let you turn quite as severely, well, severely enough to black you out, which is quite an intelligent feature, but it does limit your controls. So if you want to be on the edge, you want to turn off G-Safe for a start, and then suddenly, you know, you can now pull off better maneuvers, but at the risk of blacking out, etc. So that's what that does. And then if we press control caps again, G-Safe comes back on, and then we've got ComStab. Now ComStab is for finer adjustments. It makes it a little bit more twitchy, I think. I'm not really sure entirely what it does. It feels like it makes it slightly more twitchy so you can have more precision attacks. And of course you can turn both of them off by pressing control and caps again. It's like a cycle. So if we press it again, they're both on, and we've got coupled mode on now. So we are back to how we are before. So there's a few more things I want to show you before we get into actual battle. This has turned into more of a tutorial of how to fly, but I just wanted to show you the depth of which they have already gone to, you know, in terms of functionality. Now I can't remember where the landing pad is, and it's faster to do this. Alright, so here we are. We've finally found it. It took me a few times. Look at how beautiful that looks. I think that should be the thumbnail for the video, honestly. Yeah, that looks awesome. Yeah. Anyway, landing platform. We have found you. So, as I said before, I'm using a joystick, so left and right on the joystick are roll, and then twizzling is for, you know, my yaw, which in some other games I actually have inverted, and I'm not used to not having it inverted, so it feels a little bit odd. Now, I'm going to show you something really cool. A lot of people have been doing this wrong. You fly over the object you want to land on, like that. Cut your throttle completely. Have your outside view, the best one, which is this one, obviously. Now, hopefully the landing gear comes down, but what we want to do is we want to press caps lock into decoupled mode. Now, in decoupled mode, it allows us to swiggle around, as I said before. As you can see, we can, you know, we're shifting all sorts of directions here, look. So W, A, S, and D are, you know, inverters essentially. D is, you know, that way. And then we've got A that way. And then we've got W, which goes forward, funnily enough. And these are all strafing, okay? But Q and E control your height. So as you can see, look, we're coming down. The landing gear kind of came down. Sadly, it's a bit buggy. This is day one. That's not supposed to happen, as you can imagine. But there we go. But that's how you would land anyway, using the decoupled mode with the strafing options. Let's turn that off. Actually, let's turn it back on. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to see you in a minute, because we're going to go and show you some Vandal Swarm. Okay, so Vandal Swarm time. We're going to change ship, like I said. We've shown off the Aurora, and like I say, it's not the best thing in the universe to fight with. It's a bit fiddly, and honestly, I'm not used to it. So we're going to go over to the 300i and mess around with that in the Vandal Swarm mode.
Origin Jump Works at your service. Core system operational.
If you're not sure what Vandal Swarm actually is, essentially if you've ever played Gears of War or any tower defense game, it's horde mode. So basically a series of waves of enemies that spawn after a timer. You kill them, then you have a couple of seconds respite to get your shields back online, and then another wave comes out. I think it goes up to 15 waves. The furthest I've got is 8 waves. I'm just not that good yet. And obviously with recording I'm not going to be able to do very good right now because I'm having a few FPS drops. But we're going to show off what we can anyway.
Achieved missile lock.
If you can lock on with another button over here to the right, and then you fire with the button below it. It's very self-explanatory. Oh my god, nearly hit that guy. But as you can see, there's shield effects, and that guy tried to ram me. But we're going to do some lock-on stuff. Now, something that some people might not know is when you lock on, and if you hold down the missile launch button, instead of just fire it, it has a chase cam. So you can watch yourself taking down the enemy. Let's show you that again in a second. Just get a few shots off. And then we'll get into a position where we can get a clear lock on in a second. What's this guy doing? So the first few waves are like, they're barely even there, honestly. They're quite easy when you have decent frames per second. But essentially when it lines up with a green box, that means you're going to hit them. Oh, I took that guy down anyway. But then again, this is wave 1. So once you've killed all of the members of that wave, another wave will spawn in a few seconds, like 5 seconds. You may have noticed that I've got NPCs with me, 2 wingmen. And these actually have some lore if you read the manual. Oh, can we fly through? Oh shit! I was trying to show off, and that didn't work. So I blew up my ship already. Funnily enough, you have 3 lives in Vandal Swarm mode, and you respawn by pressing X. So that was 1 life I've already wasted on the first wave. We're not doing too well here. But oh well. So let's lock onto this guy. And let's do some damage when we're close enough. God damn, come closer and burn. But as you can see, this is a lot of fun. Like, I've had a lot of fun with this already. You don't seem to understand how much FPS drops I'm getting trying to record right now, but it's quite fiddly on the whole sensitivity of the controls, but even more fiddly when you have lag. So here's another missile. Oh, it's gonna kill him. Boom. Another Vandal down. So the enemy are using Vandal scythes. You may remember those. Everything is PBR'd. Something else I probably haven't talked about much is that everything has the physics-based rendering layered on it now in the Arena Commander module stuff, all 3 of the ships. And obviously the idea is they're going to add more and more ships that are available, that people have bought, you know, via the backing process, into the module at some point. Obviously this is going to be the basis, the first test of space flight, you know, so they're going to be using this module and then attaching other modules to it, like the planet side module, where you interact with people and you do the marketing stuff and all that. So as games go, this isn't really a game. A lot of people, like, for some reason I see That shot
Stern shielding
took out my engine. Are you kidding me? That one shot.
received catastrophic damage.
Well,
Proximity
we're fucked.
alert.
But like I say, for some reason I've seen a lot of reviews of Arena Commander for some reason. It's very hard to review a pre-alpha state flight sim. Like, why would you review something that's not even in alpha yet? That doesn't make sense. Boom! Yeah, goodbye.
Eliminated.
Nice shooting considering I can't actually move my ship now. I've lost what was generating the power for my thrusters. I'm turning on a reaction wheel engine and nothing more. We are sort of flying very fast towards this asteroid though, which is a bit of a problem. But yeah, like I say, anyway, we're going to crash and burn in a second. But I don't know how you can review a pre-alpha. You can comment on what works and what doesn't, which, you know, goes into a bug list and bug report forms, but it's very difficult to review something in such an early state. Oh, we're dead.
Alert.
RP. Oh,
Weapons system.
not the explosion I thought would happen, but we are resultedly dead, if not dead in the water. Let's respawn. So there we go, my last life
Origin jump
already.
works at your
This is
service.
fantastic. Good
Core
work,
system
Meoni. Good work.
operational. Contact.
I plan on doing a few other videos of
Scan
this where I
initiated.
can actually get some good compilations of stuff, and when I actually get more used to the controls a bit more, we'll have...
Proximity
Oh god,
alert.
a bit close to the death beam of death. If you're wondering what the beams are, they're terraform beams. This planet is being terraformed to a habitable world, from obviously not being a habitable world. When you fly close to it, you get like judder as well. I'm really impressed of how good the Newtonian physics are already.
Achieved missile.
Oh, there goes the missile. Boom. Go on, boom. There we go. There's the boom.
Eliminated.
Zero hostile contacts.
Oh, wow. We're storming through the waves on our last life. Doing nothing. All of our wingmen are doing all the work here. I feel pretty bad about that, but oh well.
En route.
Oh dear.
Contact.
Like I say,
Scan initiated.
so let's do some flying past this. This looks good. Oh,
Proximity
up.
alert.
look at that. That's
Scan
better.
initiated.
Oh, we nearly hit the bloody Vandal guy though. Christ. So the Vandal are an alien race, but look a lot like Geiger's alien race, or I guess the Kilrathi if you're a Wing Commander fan.
Achieved missile lock.
A bit like that. They're very animorpholic or whatever. How the hell do you pronounce that?
Stern shielding
Oh.
depleted.
Oh,
Weapons system.
there goes everything.
Thrusters
Okay,
has received
I was trying to get away and I've just got rear-ended.
Achieved
Oh god!
missile lock.
How did I survive that? Oh crap! We're flying through the wreckage. And that was probably not the best decision in the universe. Well, this is a good time as any to show you the ejection module. If it works today, let's try it. So Shift,
Proximity alert.
Alt GR and L. If we press those
Scan
two.
Initiated.
Hold on, let's see if can we get this steady? Nah. We're pretty effed, I think. We're spinning out of control. This is not possible. Like, we are literally spinning around. Oh, can we kill this guy before we die, please?
Achieved missile
R.I.P. That must feel really bad to die to someone
now
who has no engine again for the third time. I don't know why the Vandal have decided that they're going to be strong on wave 2 or 3 now. That's ridiculous. Usually I get to like wave 7 before the Vandal start actually trying to kill me. I was kind of hoping that that guy would come closer, but he's not going to get anywhere near us. Well, like I say, Alt GR and L, and that's not what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be inside your ship and the hatch is supposed to blast off. But for some reason I spawned outside of the ship. So yeah, like I say, it's full of bugs. Don't get it unless you're willing to
Integration.
put up with bugs. Don't buy it as a game. Like, I don't like it when people are like, oh, I'm going to buy it as if it was an actual game. As much as it is slightly polished and how much of, you know, they've hyped it up a bit, it isn't a game. It is a test, a very, very early test, and people seem to not understand that, and it really makes me quite just perplexed. What do people expect from day one? I didn't expect this, honestly. I really did not expect to be able to fly around in full Newtonian physics with an ion jetpack on the back of a flight suit and be able to control gravity and then blast in one direction, deal with terminal velocity unless I burnt the other. Like, it's fantastic. Look, this is just EVA mode. I could respawn and obviously it would end and all that, but, you know, people take for granted what goes through the development process of a video game these days. This is only, you know, what, a 44 million, I've lost count now, $44 million crowdfunding thing, and people go, well, that's a lot of money, Meoni. Christ, you'd think they'd be able to have better customer service than this. It's like, well, maybe, but that's, you know, that's case by case issue there, prime and simple. But you have to remember that World of Warcraft, for example, started with over 400 million from Warcraft 3's profits, basically. You know, they started off an MMO with that much money, and that's how they were able to do what they did. So, well, that means I'm not getting a high score because I just got disconnected from the servers. Amazing. But I wasn't going to get one anyway. But you've got to ask yourself what you expect, and I did not expect to be able to float around and have as much fun as I have been having already to this point. So there we go. Oh, we get one more ship. Awesome. I must have miscounted. But like I say, I mean, for what it is right now, you can fly 3 ships. One of them is broken for me for one buggy reason. Am I depressed with that? No, I'm not. Do I expect it? God, I didn't even expect to be able to fly. So, I am very, very, very grateful to Chris Roberts and the entire team at Cloud Imperium Games. I intend to fill out some bug reports, as anyone who has access to this should, you know, on their systems. You know, be helpful and constructive. Don't review it. Don't compare it to, well, you can compare it to Elite Dangerous if you like, because maybe some of that's constructive. But don't just say it's shit. Don't just say, oh, I expected more. I'm fed up of seeing that. Do yourself a favour and be one of the people who actually helps develop the best damn space game ever, instead of be against it for whatever hipster reason. Look at that. Oh god, it's a tracking missile. That's so awesome.
Nice shooting.
As you can see, missiles are a bit OP. You do get a limited amount. I think you only get 4 or 5. I can't remember. Again, you get 2 ranks basically. Even weapon systems like my guns are limited as well, unless they're energy based. So there's a lot of thought and a lot of attention detail gone into this so far already that it blows me away. It really does. And obviously it's only going to get better. There's going to be new iterations, new ships added. I can't wait to get into the Constellation and fly that. And you should definitely stay tuned because I'm going to be covering it. Oh, and that's it. He decided to ram me. Amazing. So that's that over. You know, do yourself a favor, take a step back, and just be thankful that we've got what we've got in such an early state. And then that's pretty much it. But like I say, be sure to stay tuned to the channel here on AceGamesTV. I intend to do a lot more stuff. I've put in maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 hours already, and I'm loving it. And it's just 2 maps and 2 modes, essentially, with 3 different ships. You know, it is a lot more addictive than I thought it would be, and a lot more impressive. So from me and this 300i in my hangar, whilst I wait for the Constellation to become a flyable ship in the near future, I'll see you in the verse. Meoni out. See you next time.